Alright, hey, hi, hello. How's it going, guys? My name is ZetaRayZod, and welcome back to more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Now, before I begin, be sure to like, subscribe, and get that bell on so you stay up to date on all my latest videos. So, last we left off, we kind of started off the trial. Kind of doesn't seem to be going Saseki's way because he was accused by the victim of trying to poison him. So, not sure what's gonna happen there, but yep, we're going into the first cross-examination of the whole trial. So let's get to it. It was around 9 o'clock that evening when I visited my neighbor and I took some tea with me as a gift. Oh wait, shit! Oh, I gotta press it. Sorry, we did all this already. Mabi, press. Were you and your neighbor good friends then? No, we were friends. Not at all. Not at all. Never, ever. Simple no would have sufficed. He seems pretty adamant on saying no though. Then why did you decide to pay him a visit? Mr. Shakespeare fancies himself as having great literary knowledge. As a fellow scholar of English literature, we find much to talk about together. Come now, no Nipponese could understand the finer points of English literature. Oh, Van Zeeks, racist as always. And on the night in question, that was the topic of conversation as well, I presume. It was the day of my last trial when I was acquitted. I just arrived back in my lodgings, and I ran into Mr. Shakespeare outside on the street. That was around 6 o'clock. We exchanged one or two pleasantries, but it soon turned into heated discussion. He was on his way out at the time though, so I promised to visit his room that evening at 9 to continue our debate. But did I have ill intentions? No! Not one, not two, not any, not at all. Never, ever.
Jeez. Simple no would have sufficed, I feel.
Then tell the court what did happen when you visited the victim's room. Okay, nothing there to press. A literary debate about Shakespeare's works, I think you said, didn't you?
Shakespeare. A very worthy topic of conversation, I must say.
Oh, yes, my lord. Romeo and Juliet. Who was stronger? It was a profoundly pleasurable parley.
Romeo and Juliet.
Who was stronger? I know I'm gonna regret asking this, but how did the debate go? Well, we both agreed that we could reach a conclusion more quickly with a reenactment. So we battled it out, in a Greco-Roman style, naturally. Naturally. What? Mr. Shakespeare had all sorts of costumes in his room for just such a contest. So when you say reenacted, you mean you were actually in costume? He as Romeo, I as Juliet. And afterwards, Saseki as Juliet in a dress with that mustache. And after a vigorous wild tussle, I, as Juliet, came out on top. Victory I'll cherish forever.
I dare not imagine the terrible scene of carnage.
The fact remains that it was you who prepared the tea and took it to the victim, correct? I boiled the water in my room and made a pot to take with me. I heard that he was too poor to have tea himself, you see. It's true, there was no sign of any tea leaves in the man's room. I wanted to do something nice, to be friendly. So why is everyone looking at me with such suspicion? My tea was harmless! Of course it was!
And do you have any basis for that statement, witness?
Valid point. Tea is completely harmless, you can lock the door behind me. Can't you just search Saseki's room and find out this poison? Yeah, there's not a drop of tea left in the victim's room anywhere, was there? That's correct. Anyone would think the fellow never had a pot of tea before. Must have licked it dry. Which is a pity, because one drop is all we would have needed to analyze it for poison. And you say that you returned home to your room at 11 o'clock, Miss Natsume. Yes, definitely. By heaven and earth, I swear it. The landlord was able to verify that, as it happens. He confirmed that the defendant went back to his room at 11 that night.
And how is the landlord able to attest to this?
He, said it was the lamps, I believe.
The lamps, Inspector?
When tenants return to their rooms and start using gas, the lamps in other parts of the house flicker.
Yeah, Mr. Garrett seems to pay a lot of attention to the comings and goings of his tenants.
There's only one key to Mr. Shakespeare's room. I know that for certain. So he must have locked the door himself, from inside his room. victim has confirmed that to be the case, yes. So I'm right! My tea was harmless, completely harmless. If you take poison, you die. Everyone knows that. It's not that simple, I'm afraid. What do you mean? Strike 9. I still don't know how to pronounce this. It takes some time to have effect on the body. How long does it take for symptoms to appear then? According to the coroner I was speaking to at the ad, about 30 minutes after the poison's consumed. Actually, how does he even know what poison it is? Considering that there's no evidence of poison at all. Huh. Then the victim suffers violent convulsions, cramping and stiffness, and eventually dies from asphyxiation. So there's a 30-minute interval between when the poison is ingested and the onset of symptoms. Seems to be a lot of different types of poison in the world, that's for sure.
Oh dear, death by poisoning again. It's always so awful.
Yeah. 30 minutes is a long time. Certainly long enough for the victim to have locked the door behind the accused after he left. You can't deny that. And it further degrades Seki-san's alibi. I have the medical report from the doctor who examined the victim here, my lord. It spells it out, really. The accused is the only person who could have done it. Very well. The court will add this report to the court record as evidence. Victim's medical report. Okay, it mentions poison's details gleaned during police investigation.
Oh yes, I see here. Delayed onset of symptoms.
Okay, excuse me. William Shakespeare, ingestion of small quantity of strychnine. Toxic effects present 30 minutes after ingestion. High likelihood of substance having risen to tea. The victim is strychnine. No sample can be taken for testing. 1:30 a.m. Poisoning incident occurred at 1:30 a.m. If I think this is a hole right here because I think they mentioned that Natsume went back to his room at 11. So there's no way he could have poisoned him because if not, he would have been poisoned at 11:30 instead of 2 hours later. 12:01, yeah, 2 hours. Continue. Okay, okay, this is a hole. Found a hole. Great. Okay, can I just press him real quick on this? Let's see. Around 11. Present. Can you present this? Mr. Natsume, you say it was 11 p.m. when you left to return to your room, correct? Yes! And, Inspector Gregson, can we rely on the information in the medical report unconditionally? Of course we can. There's no problem with the report, Sunshine. Actually, I think there's a very big problem. Because there's a chronological inconsistency between it and the defendant's testimony. Chrono what? What are you on about? According to this report, the victim must have consumed the poison at around 1:30 in the morning. And yet, the defendant, Miss Natsume, left the victim's room at 11. Oh. Yeah, that's right. There's more than 2 hours of missing time there. In other words, if there was poison in the tea that Miss Natsume brought to the victim's room, how could the victim have fallen ill to it 2.5 full hours after the defendant left? They both did it. What the frick? Why did Natsume do that?
The defense's argument is entirely reasonable. How do you respond, Lord Van Zieks?
It's gonna break something. Oh, pray forgive the discourtesy if my mind has wandered. I was considering what cuisine would best complement the contents of my hallowed chalice this luncheon. How could it have happened, you ask? I broke something. I do hate to shatter illusions, but my Nipponese friend appears to be chasing a phantom idea. A phantom? Is it so hard to imagine the victim drank his tea after the accused had left? For example, at the time stated in the medical report. Yes, at around 1:30. Pretty sure y'all like your tea hot. Mr. Natsume brought the tea for him to drink together with his neighbor. And in Japan, there's a well-known saying, drink tea while it's hot. And in my country, there's an even more apt saying, there is nothing more refreshing than cold tea. What the hell? But the point is, if there's such a long gap... Is that really a thing? I thought like all over you drink tea hot. Why would you... There may be other ways to explain how the victim came to be poisoned. Other possibilities. What sort of possibilities, counsel? Well, for example, the man could have had another visitor. Another visitor. It's a very bold assertion, my learned friend. From someone who has nothing to substantiate it. Neither do you. Or the victim could have taken the poison of his own volition. You suggest this may have been a suicide, counsel? Mr. Shakespeare has categorically denied suicide. The idea can and must be discounted. Ooh. But he could be lying.
Is something wrong, Lord Van Zieks?
I was listening to the sound of the carriage pulling up outside the courtroom. Pray, forgive the discourtesy. Carriage? What carriage? It would seem that the key player in this case has just arrived. Is it Mr. Shakespeare? It's Shakespeare, in it. In it. Out, brief candle. I can't remember the voice I gave him. Life's but a walking shadow. Keep saying the same line again and again. A poor play. It struts and frets its hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. Tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury. Blah, 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 blah. His tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Damn, that's bright. Move, Shakespeare, move!
Who, sir, are you?
William Shakespeare, my lord. Alas, 'twas I, undone by these bitter events. I am the victim. What? What's he doing here? He's like, yeah, what's he doing here? He's got a scepter and everything. The prosecution seeks to call this gentleman to the stand. With his testimony, my learned friend's futile resistance will be utterly crushed. You're calling him as a witness?
Very well, counsel. I grant your request with interest. I'm curious to discover what the court shall hear from the victim himself.
Happy am I, Shakespeare, to regale thee with my tale of woe, my lord. But I still have my own tale to tell! My own tale of worse woe! I can regale the court with the tale of my perfect innocence, in perfect English.
That will do, Mr. Natsume. Let the court now hear from the victim.
Oh, you! Who the hell are you? Alright. So that's Mr. Shakespeare. Who's that other man beside him?
Yeah, I feel sure that we caught a glimpse of that man before.
State your names and occupations for the court, please, witnesses. A writer of words so sweet they do set the breeze. An inventor of ideas so profound they compose the earth. The unrivaled poet, the unmatched scribe, William Shakespeare. Or the great bard to be called to life anew? Lo, what a magnificent man. Good fellows, I am he who ponders such a miracle. William Shakespeare. Oh, the name's Metermann. Adron B. Metermann. Adron B. Metermann. I work for the Altamont Gas Company, East End Branch Office.
Oh, I remember now. It was yesterday on Briar Road.
Oh yeah, she's right, it's him. Oh, what's this? What's that man doing over there? Looks like he's trying to see into Saseki-san's lodgings. I thought that's Shakespeare's because there's soap outside in the window. Run. What a weird man. Yeah, we spotted him outside Mr. Garrett's house that morning. And he's a gas company employee? What does he have to do with this case?
So, Mr. William Shakespeare, you are the victim in this miserable affair, correct?
Oh heaven, oh hell, do you command me to remember that sweet poison that didn't cross me and cross mine innocent lips? I subpoenaed him for the trial, with his doctor's permission, naturally. Hearing the testimony of the agreed will remove any room for doubt from the juror's mind, I'm sure. Behold, you have only to rearrange the letters of my name to see that me's a seraph, an angel indeed. Me's a seraph. Thus be I of noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verily honest of heart, as all heavenly angels be. Because there isn't a less contrived meaning in your name. No, not at all.
The juror seems to be very moved by this man, I'm afraid. You're actually taking this seraph anagram idea seriously?
Oh, sorry, that's Naruto.
Thank you, witnesses, for your illuminating introductions.
But, my lord, what's the man next to Mr. Shakespeare doing here? The gas man, I mean.
Oh, what? Me? Well now.
Allow me to enlighten my learned friend. You recall, I presume, your earlier impertinence? When you suggested that the victim had another visitor to his room on the night in question, and moreover that the victim is a compulsive liar.
What?
No, I didn't quite say that. This young chin-stroker is here to controvert your wild claims conclusively. Is that not so, Mr. Metermann?
Hang on, no, I'm just here.
I hereby call for your formal testimonies. You will tell the court as lucidly as possible what happened on the night in question.
One may smile and be a villain. Yes, it doth pain me, but let the truth be spoken. The truth of that wintry night of my discontent. Here we go. The wintry night of my discontent. The snow lay about. My neighbor did cometh in the evening, bearing a gift of tea. But merry, bitter was his drink, and when he left, I did fall prostrate on my table. 'Twas the tea alone did pass my lips that late hour, naught else.
I was outside this bloke's window in the freezing cold all night, keeping an eye on his room. No one else visited his room but that short little round-backed Eastern fella.
Why were you spying on him, my friend? Wait, what did you say? You were keeping an eye on Mr. Shakespeare's room all night?
That's right. Of course, the bloke's window's all been blocked up, isn't it? But there's a little gap in the bricks where you can see into the room. So I spent the night trying to keep my teeth from chattering as I peered in through that.
The question is, sir, why? Why?
Oh, well now, that's because he's on my list.
What a piece of work is a man. Wherefore wouldst thou not stare in wonderment? What are you talking about? This buzzing busybody hath not part in this play. I pray thee, pay him no heed. Make no more ado about his tedious words.
What'd you say about me?
Calm yourself. This court is concerned with what happened on the night in question. Nothing more.
Indeed, that is so.
And, as the testimony we have just heard clearly reveals, there was no one other than the accused present at the time who could have carried out this crime. That almost rhymed. They're just talking.
Well, I believe this made a final testimony of the trial. Now, counsel, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. Here we go. Aight. Let's go. Snow lay about. Neighbors have cometh. Okay. To be clear, by neighbor you are referring to the defendant, Miss Natsume. Oh, indeed, sire. Perchance thou wouldst that I call him the man from upstairs. And at what time did the mustachioed Nipponese visit you in your room? Our meeting was promised for the hour of 9, and lo did he come to tender a gift of fragrant tea.
Details which are in accordance with the defendant's own testimony, yes.
And we were broiled in such literary debate as history hath not seen before. By which I presume he means
The discussion about who was the stronger, Romeo or Juliet?
I, Shakespeare, did play the part of young Romeo, whilst my neighbor played the fair Juliet. Each of us dressed, as would our characters be, to bring weight upon our merry experiment.
I dare not imagine the scene.
Frailty, thy name is woman. Canst thou imagine how dismayed I was? Yes, I had heard of the eastern art of jiu-jitsu, but ne'er did I dream 'twould be a skill practiced by the comely maiden. Juliet beat Romeo up? This is not helping your case. I believe the court has heard enough about your earth-shattering literary debate. Perhaps you could reiterate your statement about the tea that the accused brought to your room. My liege, I am thy servant. Gladly I with you thy bidding. Bitter was his drink. When did you drink it, sir? Let me stop you there. Mr. Natsume left your room at 11 o'clock, but it wasn't until after 2 that the poison made you collapse. That amounts to more than 3 hours of missing time. What are you doing? He's just dancing. If the defendant had really put the poison into your tea, that 3-hour window of time is something you're gonna have to explain. Gladly. It is an easy task.
What?
I did drink of the tea not while my guest did tarry, but after he took leave of me. Faith, 'twas stone cold, but at 1 hour post midnight, verily were my lips parched. Post midnight? Oh, what? That doesn't sound normal. Nay, 'tis quite ordinary, sire. After all, thou wouldst recall our fiery debate. Amidst such argument, there'd be no time for fiery tea. Romeo and Juliet again. And who was stronger? Mr. Shakespeare, in summary, allow me to confirm. Did you not come here with the intention of naming your attacker? But of course, my liege. 'Twas the astute lover of words that attempt to shuffle me off this mortal coil. We all know what that means. Okay. So, you didn't have any kind of evening meal? Dinner? Supper? Ha! Fie on luxury, fie on gluttony. To eat thrice daily is but a waste of time. Sorry? I wit that my belly were full, no more oft than the sun doth rise.
Well, most heroic eating habits, I must say.
Night and day do I fill my hours with learned study of the great bard and playwright. Hence is it that there doth not in my chamber be than the costumes of mine art.
That would appear to be the case, as even a rodent was found starved to death in your room.
Now I think of it, it's not just food that was conspicuously missing from that room, is it? I don't recall seeing a single-player script anywhere.
For I have devoured them all.
Oh my god, you've eaten them?
Every word be within my skull. Didst thou imagine otherwise?
Right, that wasn't misleading at all.
Now, could you turn around, do you think?
Which brings us to the conclusion that the only way the poison could have passed the victim's lips is in the tea. Huh. He ate his scripts? What if the ink is poison? But the windows of that house have all been filled in.
A historical artifact of the now defunct window tax.
Yeah, you're right there, all bricked up horribly. But as it happens, there's a little part of the brickwork at the bottom corner that's been opened up. I was looking in through the gap.
Yeah, there were a few bricks loose, weren't there?
And for some strange reason, a couple of bars of soap lined up on the ledge outside as well. I don't like going around poking my chin in other people's business, especially on freezing cold nights. But that's my orders, so that's what I'll do. As long as there's breath in my body.
What's with all the theatricals today?
Out of interest, Mr. Metermann, after the accused had left and returned to his own lodgings, did you see the victim leave the room at all? No, he never left. He was in that room the whole time as far as I'm concerned.
And we can therefore discount the possibility of suicide. How can you be sure of that?
The police carried out a thorough investigation of the scene and found no receptacle for the poison.
And since we know the victim didn't leave his room and hence didn't dispose of the poison's container himself, it's clear that this was no attempted suicide. Only the culprit could have removed the receptacle.
Yes. Lucidly explained, counsel.
It really was. You can't argue with that logic. No one else visits his room, but that short little round back. You say a short little round back Eastern fella, so you can't be sure he was the defendant then. How many other short little round back Nipponese with a mustache do you think there are in London?
Well, of course, it's only a narrow gap, and it was quite dark, so I didn't notice the mustache, but he showed up at around 9, so I'm pretty sure of myself.
And when the person you saw arrived, did he and Mr. Shamsford drink tea together?
Nah, sorry, I couldn't say.
Why not?
Because I couldn't see into the room all that well, could I? But what I did see was the silhouette of that little round-back fellow wearing a pretty dress. Then the pair of them started some kind of wrestling match. I tell you, I didn't know what to make of it.
Huh.
I suppose that was the Romeo Juliet championship battle getting underway.
Mr. Metermann, allow me to confirm one final time. Apart from the accused, can you state with certainty that no one else visited the victim on the night in question?
No question. Gasman's honor.
Who said hold it? Oh, you?
My lord. Goodness me. Yes, Mr. Foreman. I've kept my mouth shut and listened up to now, but this has gone on long enough. Are you all with me?
Oh, here we go. Are we to understand that you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are in agreement with one another? That you've reached a unanimous decision?
Too right we have.
Are you all with me? Wait, no! The defense is in the middle of a cross-examination! To be honest, I was holding out a bit of hope for you, young man, especially after you identified those few hours that followed the accused leaving the victim's room.
Yeah, the 3 missing hours, as you put it.
But in the end, well, what difference do they make? Not as far as I can see. I can't remember the voice I gave her.
And since that's now apparent, there's really no reason to delay our decision any longer.
Like I was saying before, if I don't take 5 Bob home with me tonight, the missus will blow a top.
Huh? What was that? Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said. Very well. Let the court be apprised of your decisions. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings as to the defendant's culpability.
Of course.
有罪
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 有罪有罪
Boom, boom. Oh, all of you?
Well, it would appear that the jury is indeed unanimous.
So, this time at least, it seems justice will be done. All's well that ends well, as they say. This calls for a toast, I feel. To the guilty being punished. Who's theatrical now?
Get out, Mr. Naruhodo, please. Trial isn't over yet.
What do you mean, Mrs. Sato?
What about the information I found in this encyclopedia of British law I have? That obscure right that belongs to the defense of situations. Remember?
I remember.
I remember.
Summation examination. Yeah, that's right. We don't have a jury in Japanese courts, of course. But here in the British Court of Law, if we can reverse the decisions of the majority of the jurors, we can force the trial to continue. This trial can't end now. Whatever it takes, I just can't let that happen. The defense moves to invoke its right to submission examination, my lord. Why am I not surprised at my learned Nipponese friend's inability to admit defeat? You choose to cling desperately to some archaic rule you barely comprehend instead of accepting the truth.
Certainly no other defense counsel in recent times has exercised their right to a submission examination. because they all know that once the jury's mind is set, it cannot be altered. Nevertheless, the right remains and must be upheld. The defense counsel request is granted. This court will proceed with submission examination outlined in the Encyclopedia of British Law. Thank you, my lord. Are you and your fellows prepared, Mr. Foreman? Believe me, my lord, we know all about this young lad's tenacity.
And we're ready for it.
Very well. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby call upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime from which he stands accused. Here we go.
Judicial findings. Jurors' contentions.
Victim may not be well off, but he's a nobleman and straight up. There's no reason to doubt the man. Well, I do declare the good gentleman has no reason to lie. In fact, I think he's rather splendid. Just look at the accused by comparison. He's Japanese. Duke's all the while has a mustache. Very fishy. How's that not racist? There's no evidence to suggest the gangly actors are fraudsmen. For now, at least.
I really don't care.
I just need the trial end quickly. 3 hours of missing time is nothing when you reach my age, you know. Nothing at all.
I knew it. Every single one of them seems completely convinced. Alright, but you know what? I think I'm gonna leave this episode here. I mean, I'm not surprised. This is gonna happen. It's gonna be a back and forth. I'm sure I'm gonna get the majority, then I'm gonna be guilty again, and then back and forth. Because that's how it works. I doubt we're close to a finish. We're very far from it. In fact, I kind of get the feeling. But we'll figure it out. In the next episode, we will do the submission examination. I'm sure we can convince some of them, and we'll see what new evidence or new witnesses come to light. But for now, if you like what you see and you like what you hear, be sure to like, subscribe, and get that bell on so you stay up to date on all my latest videos. As always, be safe, take care, and I'll see you when I see you. Peace!